This is exactly what I would do if I had 3 weeks to lose visceral fat, a step-by-step guide of what I would do to remove as much as possible. And we're not just going to go after the deep visceral fat, we'll also go after the surface level fat as well. So you do get 2 for 1 in this video. But first and foremost, I'm Josh Bridgman. I'm an IFBB pro and a professional bodybuilder. It's my job to lose fat for a living. But more importantly that, I've helped over 1,000 people just like you completely eradicate body fat from their bodies and also build muscle, but more importantly for this video, lose 30, 40, 50, even 100 pounds of fat. It takes time, it takes patience, but there is a method to it, and I'm gonna walk you through the method in this video. First and foremost, there's 2 types of body fat that you're dealing with. Number 1 is subcutaneous fat. This is the fat that everyone sees, that everyone feels, that everyone's conscious of. But there's something deeper in there, and that is visceral fat. And this is the internal fat that surrounds your organs. And genuinely, it's just not very good for you. But what's crazy about visceral fat is that you can be a lean body, a lean physique, and still have visceral fat. And it can come from things that cause inflammation, insulin resistance, and we're going to walk through all of those things today. So the plan here is not just to give you abs, but to give you health, longevity, and function, and have you kicking around for a long time. Fat loss definitely starts with food, and it definitely starts with what you eat, and it definitely starts with calories in versus calories out. But more importantly, when we start to talk about visceral fat and the fat that kills you, we're going to start thinking about what you eat. And the golden rule, which I want to underpin all of this, is no ultra processed crap. If it's got more than 20 ingredients, throw it in the bin. And if you really want to make a serious change to your visceral levels of fat, which will categorically make you live longer and improve your health and reduce your all-cause mortality, you need to seriously be considering removing processed foods. So let that underpin what we're going to go through next. So we're going to go through what I call the gut fire protocol, and this is going to be what can massively help your gut health, which is hugely linked to visceral fat levels, and most importantly, reducing them. So I'm going to go through a bit of a food list here, and you can go through some of these, and if any of these that you pick up from the supermarket has more than 20 or 30 ingredients, put it back down and move on to the next one. Things like plain Greek yogurt, sauerkraut, berries, these are going to be your friends. These foods are going to be super rich in nutrients, and they're going to be very low in terms of inflammation response. And that is the goal here, is to reduce the inflammation response from food. If you go away, you have spicy food, foods rich in gluten, foods rich in lactose, foods rich in foods that you just cannot digest that well, they're going to be rich in inflammation and rich in poor gut health. And you may not necessarily feel that, builds a little burp and maybe pass gas, but they're having a downstream effect. And when you do this for years, they're having an even bigger downstream effect. So why these foods? They control insulin resistance. They control inflammation response. They feed healthy bacteria, and they keep you fuller for longer. So all of those things lead you to a better deficit, a better gut health, and reduced visceral fat. If you can control your insulin levels, if you can control your gut inflammation, both of these things are going to reduce your visceral fat gain. So if we can do things like we're going to go through in a minute that can reduce those things, you're going to lead yourself to the favor of losing visceral fat. The first thing I want you to focus on is adding a fasting protocol. Now, this is a little bit counterintuitive to what I would do as a job, bodybuilding, but I don't just stop at bodybuilding. I excel at keeping people healthy, making people live longer, and adding in protocols that can massively change their life for good through different downstream effects that they're going to have. So for example, what I want you to focus on is adding a fasting protocol. Now, you don't have to do this every week, but I think at least once or twice a month, you should add a 24-hour fasting. Maybe it's a Sunday, maybe it's 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. You can break a fast on a Sunday evening, Saturday to Sunday. And in between that, I actually want you to stick to a 16-8 intermittent fasting protocol. So 16 hours of not eating, 8 hours of eating. This is going to spend some time with your gut without food in it, which is going to hugely reduce your inflammation, water retention, hugely improve your insulin resistance, and can massively increase cell autophagy, which is the dying of old cells in your body. In fact, when you go over 48 hours or even 3-day fasts, your liver can reduce by up to 1/3, and then regain that third back in healthy cells. So the older cells will die off, or dead cells will die off, and you'll expel them. And this can be a massively impactful way to upregulate your organs and give them a little spring cleaning, metaphorically. So if you can do a 24-hour fast, make sure you're still drinking water and consuming electrolytes, because that is the key to life. But if you do spend 24 hours without food, I think you're going to feel better mentally. You're going to see a physical reduction in inflammation, and you're probably going to feel that physical reduction as well. The most important thing is, after that fast, is not just to jump straight back into eating normal foods, but gradually break that fast with very easily digestible foods like we've said on that list, and don't just like binge on the other side. It's about moderately bringing things back in. Then, of course, the rest of the week is 16-8 protocol. This is still a good 16 hours without any food. 8 hours is a pretty big window, especially if you sleep for like 9 hours of those 16 hours. It's a pretty big window. But still remember to get your electrolytes in, and still remember to drink fluid in that time. The 24-hour fast, the general fasting, it's brutal, but it's effective. Insulin is going to crash, inflammation is going to drop, and you're going to burn some stored body fat really fast. So it's a one-way ticket to improving your health. Even better, most of it happens while you sleep. You know, you're doing it 9 hours in bed. If you do it over 2 nights, it's going to happen pretty quickly, and you'll feel mentally much better. The next thing, away from food and away from fasting, but would still underpin those as very, very important for reducing visceral fat, is going to be combining high-intensity interval training and walking. You don't need to choose between walking or HIIT. You just need to do both. They offer such different benefits, and we're going to go through those benefits right now and how they can improve your visceral fat levels. So first and foremost, walking, what does it do? It burns calories, which is great because we want to get into a calorie deficit. It improves your insulin levels. Actually, going on a 10-minute walk after a big meal has proved to improve your insulin levels greatly. The next thing, it can reduce your blood pressure. Blood pressure, one of the biggest killers, and really, really important to bring down. Walking post-meal can bring down your blood pressure and improve your insulin, like we just mentioned. HIIT is incredible for glucose separation, ingestion. It can help release growth hormone. It can help improve blood pressure massively by creating huge amounts of pressure, releasing it. It's like training the blood vessels to improve. And I think the combination between both is going to absolutely torch visceral fat as well as belly fat. And together, those two levels of body fat, they don't stand a chance. So walking, general rule of thumb, hit 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. If you can, walk post-meal. Not essential, but if you can, walk post-meal. High-intensity interval training, I want you to try to do this at least 2 or 3 times a week. And a very, very simple way to do it, make sure you warm up first. Do 1 minute at like 80% plus intensity. Recover for a minute or 2 minutes if you really struggle initially, and then go back up and repeat that 4 rounds or 5 rounds. And then try and improve that over time. It's important that you just improve that over time. And it might blow your lungs out initially, but I promise you, as you start to do it, you're going to feel the benefits tenfold. The next thing is going to be sleep and stress. Now, cortisol, which is our stress hormone, is catabolic. It's anti-testosterone. It's poor for storing belly fat. High cortisol, more belly fat. It's poor for having good energy. Your energy is going to be lower. It's going to worsen your mood, and we want to lower it wherever we can. And there's a few different things that you can do to lower it. We've obviously mentioned a few of them. Going on a daily walk, making sure that you have good food and fuel yourself right. Like inflammatory foods will help you not sleep very well. If you've had a curry and try to go to bed, or a curry and a few beers and try to go to bed, you don't sleep too well. That's common sense. But not to take this too woo-woo, but 10 minutes of meditation a day can, like, it's clinically been proven that taking 10 minutes of just slow breathing will reduce your blood pressure, reduce your cortisol, improve your insulin, and thus improve your testosterone, reduce your inflammation. Gratitude journaling, less concrete, but similar aspect of concentrating on one thing and doing that one thing can really, really help your overall sense of well-being. Feeling more grateful will naturally reduce your cortisol. And I know some people might watch this and think, I don't want to do that. That's fine, but if you can find a way to practice gratitude, it doesn't have to be writing it down. It could just be spending a minute looking at something that you've done. Look at your nice car, look at your family, look at the view you're looking at. If you are happy with something, look at it, enjoy it, be grateful for it, and I promise you your cortisol is going to come down. Then we've got adequate sleep hygiene, proper sleep hygiene. So if you can, try and sleep 7.5 hours a night. I've got more videos which you can click through on my profile that talk about sleep in depth, but just some small low-hanging fruit. Cold room, no caffeine before bed, try and stop before 2 p.m. No screens before bed, white noise, dark room, comfy pillows, magnesium biglycinate before bed, melatonin if you need it, and set a bedtime alarm, not a morning alarm. That's a really, really good one. So go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. That's like 9 things that are relatively inexpensive that can massively change the way your cortisol is and your sleep long term. The next thing is going to be train hard. Now, it's important that you do train hard because you're creating demand when you train hard. Muscle is a sponge for carbohydrates, and when we train, we upregulate GULT4 enzyme, which is a GLUT4 enzyme, which basically is a glucose transporter enzyme. If you can upregulate that transporter, you're going to shuttle more carbohydrates, you're going to improve your insulin levels, your blood glucose levels. So training hard will literally reduce your insulin levels, which will reduce your inflammation. And we're talking about systemic inflammation here, not acute, which is what happens when you train. Yes, when you train, you cause inflammation, but it's positive inflammation. The next thing training will do is it will improve how you look. It's going to improve your bone density. It's going to stave off sarcopenia. Muscle wastage can lead to injuries. Injuries can lead to poor quality of life. Poor quality of life can lead to poor choices, poor mental state. All of these increase cortisol. All of these things link back to visceral fat. So very important, the chain of events that can happen to lead you to poor decisions, to lead you to visceral fat. And if you've done nothing for a while, and you're watching this video wanting to get going, like even 3 weeks of consistent resistance training can change everything. You'll look in the mirror and think, fuck, I look so different. Forget the body weight, forget how you look, just get into the gym twice a week, full body, then go to 3 times a week. Then if you can finally manage it 4 times a week with one of those sessions being much more functional, you will improve your inflammation, improve all those things that we've been talking about throughout this video, and you will categorically feel better. This plan is aggressive, but it is effective, and you will feel sharper, you will feel better, you'll look better, and you'll probably see those abs that you haven't seen in years, and at least the shape of them coming through. And I promise you, if you stick for this for more than 3 weeks, that is enough time for it to become a bit of a routine, and you do this for another 3, another 3, another 3, and you will not recognize yourself. If you want real support and you are watching this and you're still not quite getting it and you need some help, I'm gonna pin a comment, and all it's gonna do is gonna book you in for a completely free discovery call where it gives me a chance to just kind of dissect your life a little bit, see where you're at right now, see where you want to be, and see if we can fill in the blanks at all. Completely free, no commitment needed or anything. Hit that link, and I promise you we will have a chat that could change your life. In the meantime, drop a like, drop a comment if you enjoyed this video, drop a comment if you got something good from this, and I'll see you in the next video.